Okay, let's go into the appendicular bones. The bones more to the lateral of the body, the long bones and the thing. Let's start with the scapula in the back. The nickname is the shoulder blade, but you got to call it the scapula. So it is right here. This is the scapula. There's got two scapulas. Okay, and what articulates with the scapula is the clavicle here. So here's the clavicle coming down here. Articulates with the Achamonian process of the scapula here. So there's your clavicles. Okay. The arm bone is called the humerus. So this would be the right humerus. Okay, humerus. And the two forearm bones would be the radius. Here's the radius, right here with that nail head, and the ulna. Radius and ulna. Okay. Here's the bones of the hand. Right here. So I don't make you learn these carpals. Carpals with a C, but there's 8 of them. You need to know those 8 of them. 8 carpals with a C. 5 metacarpals. The palm is the metacarpals. And 14 phalanges per hand. There's 2 phalanges in the thumb and 3 phalanges per finger. Okay. We're talking about your hip bones here. Here is the oscocks, they call them. You got 2 oscoxes. So the ilium. Here's the pubis bone right here. It kind of looks like a mask. You see that? All of that is the pubis bone. And there's the pubic symphysis right there. Pubic symphysis, this is the pubis bone. And here's the ilium. The big bone here is the ilium. Here's the iliac crest here. It's wider in the female. So, pubis bone. See, he says it looks like a mask. So that's the pubis bone. The ilium. And the ischium is right here where the bone we sit on. So, here's the ischium right here. It's the oscocks, all 3 of them. Ilium, ischium, and the pubis is the oscocks, they call them. So here's the ischium right here. They're all fused together, so you can't tell where bone starts and one begins. But for my test, you're gonna have to know the oscocks, the ilium, the ischium, and the pubis. Okay, your leg bone is called the femur. See that? Here's the head of the femur. It comes down here, the femur. And here's the patellar bone right here. Your kneecap is called the patellar bone on both sides. So this would be definitely the anterior view. We're going to go over these bones. That's the anterior of the femur. Okay. The shin bone is called the tibia. The big one right here. That's the tibia. And the bone to the lateral is the fibula. Tibia with a T and fibula. Okay. Your ankle bones are called tarsals. There's 7 tarsals. So you don't have to name them, but you got to know that there's 7 tarsals with a T. You got 5 metatarsals with a T, and 14 phalanges per foot. 2 in the big toe and 3 in the other toes. So it's 14. So that makes 56 phalanges in the whole human body. Okay, let's go over these parts of bones now. Here's the scapula. Right here, the scapula. Let's go over here. Okay. This part of the bone right here, this part is the Achamonian process. Achamonian process. The clavicle articulates right there. Okay. This part of the bone you're going to need to know is carotenoid process. So that's this part, Achamonian process. This part doesn't articulate with another bone, but it's carotenoid process. Okay. Here, this part right here is the spine of the scapula. Rotator cuff muscles are attached to here. Spine of the scapula, the body of the scapula. Here's the glenoid cavity where the head of the humerus fits right here, ball and socket joint. Okay? Glenoid cavity, acremonium process, carotenoid process, the spine of the scapula right here. Spine of the scapula. The spine runs down here, and the glenoid cavity right here. See that? That's the glenoid cavity. The head of the humerus fits right there. Okay, here's the clavicle. See that? The clavicle, it articulates right here, forming this AC joint. AC joint. When you separate your shoulder, it's an AC joint separation. Clavicle, acremonium process, AC joint. Okay, clavicle. Okay, this would be the right humerus. So here's the anterior view. And this head, you see the head? The round part is called the head. It always points toward the medial. So that's how you determine right and left bones. So the head is proximal epiphysis of the bone. Come down here. Okay. Here's the posterior part of the bone. I know that posterior part, the back. See that deep depression right there? This right here is acremonium process. No, it isn't. It is the olecranon fossa. See, the olecranon fossa. Fossa is a deep depression in the bone. So this is a posterior view of the humerus, olecranon fossa. Okay, you have the carotenoid fossa right here, where the ulna articulates right there when you're flexing your biceps. So the deep depression posterior part is olecranon fossa. The olecranon fossa is a depression in the bone. Okay. Carotenoid fossa on the anterior view. Now look, you see this part right here is these two parts right here are of the humerus. Here's the capitellum where the radius articulates to it. So that's the radius. Articulates right here, and the capitellum is the little round bump. The trochleas are these two. See these two in this notch? These two are the trochlea. And this one is the capitellum right here. The capitellum. Okay. This bone right here is the radius, the forearm bone. I know it's the radius because this part right here. It articulates with the capitellum of the humerus. Okay, so that's the radius. It's always on the thumb side, the radius. Okay, here's the ulna right here. Forearm bone. Here's the trochlea notch. It articulates with the trochlea of the humerus. Okay, trochlear notch. The ulna. And it's a forearm bone on the pinky side. Okay, it'll be on the pinky side, little pinky side. So here's a real cadaver hand here. So that would definitely be the what? That's the radius on the thumb side. See that? So that's the thumb. Okay, you got 8 carpals with a C, these wrists. You don't have to name them all, they got special names, but you just got to know. There's 8 carpals, 5 metacarpals, and 14 phalanges per hand. 2 in the thumb and 3 in the fingers. So there's 56 phalanges in the whole human body. Okay, here's the os cox by itself. Look, here's the ilium. This big bone right here's the ilium. This part right here, that's the pubis bone, all of this. It looks like a mask, he says. So that's the pubis bone, all of this right here. See that? That's the pubis bone. And the ischium is what we sit on. So this part right here would be the ischium. Right here. Ischium. I got my thumb on. Ischium. That's the os cox. You got to know them. So the 3 bones of the os cox. Ilium is this big bone. Here's the iliac crest right here, but that's the ilium, the big bone I got my thumb on. Okay? The pubis. We got two pubis bones. I got my thumb on the pubis. And the ischium is in the back, the posterior, where we sit on. So, where I got my thumb, that's the ischium. Okay? Okay, here's the femur. Here's the femur and the parts of the femur. So, I know this is the anterior view because, look, see right here? The patella bone fits right there on the patella surface. So I know that's anterior view. Okay? Taking a look at this, I know this is right humerus. This head, see the round part is the head, it turns toward the medial. That's greater trochanter, lesser trochanter. The round thing is called the head again. It turns toward the medial, so I know this will be the right. I know this anterior view because of the patella surface right there. Okay? The posterior view, see this big bump right here? I know that's medial condyle because it's on the head side. See that? See how that head toward the medial? It always turns toward the medial. So that's medial condyle. And this would be the lateral condyle. Okay? Medial and lateral condyles. So medial condyle. Yep, that's medial. Medial condyle, lateral condyle. Okay. Okay. The big bone, here's the shin bone is called the tibia, and the fibula is the bone to the right here, the smaller bone. It's more to the lateral. Okay. This part, I know this is medial, so that's medial condyle too, of the tibia. Medial condyle, and this one's the lateral condyle. They're named the same as the femur, so don't let that mess you up. So, medial condyle, lateral condyle of the tibia. So, we're coming down here. I know this is medial view, so that'd be medial malleolus right here. See this little knot? Medial malleolus. Medial malleolus is right here where I got my finger on. Medial malleolus. And look, on the fibula, you coming down here, this big knot we got to the lateral is lateral malleolus. Right here, lateral malleolus. Okay, your foot, here's your foot right here. You need to know this is the heel bone, is called the calcaneus. Okay? It's a tarsal. But you got to know the calcaneus, your heel bone. That's the only one you need to know. You got to know there's 7 tarsals with a T, your ankle bones. 7 tarsals. 5 metatarsals with a T. And 14 phalanges, 2 in the big toe and 3 phalanges per foot.